on function number 4, the database or the DBMS should be able to provide concurrency services. A database is being accessed by more than one person. It is being shared, and these people are making changes or are having transactions that are making changes, maybe to the same database, to the same piece of data within the database. And these users or these transactions from the users must be controlled, or its concurrency, or the concurrency must be controlled to ensure that the transactions are being able to make those changes, and the update do not resort to some inconsistency. You know, sometimes I may be having a transaction on the database ambazo zinakizana. One is maybe in a bank, for example, in a bank account, one is withdrawing, the other one is depositing to the same account. And if they happen at the same time, you may find that the final result may not be the same. So the database must be able to control that concurrent access and be able to do what? To provide those services. The other function of the DBMS, or the other function of DBMS, is to provide recovery services. And the recovery, or that is, the database must be able to furnish a mechanism of recovering the database in case of a database failure or a database damage that may be resulting from a hardware failure, a software failure. The database must be maintained, must be consistent at all the time. And in case of those errors, the database must be able to do what? Give us the best or the current situation of the database. Sometimes the recovery may be done by reversing some of the transactions, by deleting some other transactions and so on, or reversing those transactions and so on, making it be able to do what? To recover the most consistent form of the database. So the recovery may be recovering from errors, may be recovering from a total failure. And these recovery services that are coming from a total failure may come, or may be brought about using a backup plan. The database also provides authorization services. This is all about access, controlled access. Who can access the database? Who can access what information within the database is also a question that comes with the authorization. So, so the database, or that is the DBMS, must be able to provide security to the database. Who is able to access the database? What kind of information are they able to access? What can they do with the information they're able to access? Is all about what is maintained by the database. The database also, or the DBMS also provides communication service or data communication services or capability. Remember, a database is being shared and it is being accessed from multiple workstations or from multiple computers. And there's need to do some communication or some data communication. And the DBMS must be able to do what? To integrate these data communication softwares into its system to enable it be able to deal with with this communication that is happening over the computer network. And remember that we said that one of the softwares that we require in the DBMS environment is the communication software. So this communication software must be able to must be integrated with the DBMS to enable the communication. The other function of the DBMS is to provide integrity services. A DBMS must be able to furnish the users with the means to ensure that both the data in the database and the changes to that data follow certain rules. And this is what we call the integrity constraints. You cannot make the changes on the database anyhowly. They must be done using a specific order, and it is the work of the database to ensure to ensure that the data in the, or that is it is the work of the DBMS to ensure that these changes that are happening on the database are done following some rules. And these rules, we refer to them as constraints. And at one point, we shall be looking at these integrity constraints, and it must be maintained. Some of them may include the primary keys. They may include the foreign keys and so on. All those keys, we shall look at them. And also there are some restrictions that may be created by the user themselves. The other service or the other function of the data DBMS is to promote data independence. And this is achieved through the use of the metadata or this data dictionary. And I think you have talked about it in what is contained in this data dictionary or in the metadata. So the DBMS must include facilities to support the independence of programs from the actual structure of the database. So in other words, the database must provide data independence, that the program or the data is not dependent on the program that creates that database, and it can be accessed by various other functions or the various other applications apart from the programs that developed that data. And this one is usually achieved through schemas or the schemas or what you call the data dictionary is one that is responsible for these functions. The other one is that it may provide other utility services, or it may provide other utility services as far as the database is concerned. And these utility services, there are many of them. For example, import facilities. If you want to load the database from files, or some data from flat files. You can also export data. For example, in our system, you can maybe if I have your marks in Microsoft Excel, it's possible for me to upload them into the system and they fit in there. I can also export some Microsoft Excel data from my database. So it is possible, that is the DBMS will provide these facilities to import data or some specific data into flat files, and also get data from those that is a input or import data from flat files, or getting data from flat files, and also inputting data into some flat files for future use. For example, if I can get some data from the system, save it as an Excel sheet, save it as a Microsoft Word document, and so on. That one is provided for by the DBMS. It also provides some monitoring facilities. So in this case, the first one, you have tackled two facilities, that is import facilities and export facilities. Import facility is to load database from our flat files, and also this is to unload database to flat files, or some data from the database to flat files. Monitoring facilities, these are supposed to monitor the usage and the operation of the data. who is able to access the data, what has happened to the data, and so on. Then it is also provides statistical analysis programs. These to examine the performance of the usage statistics. How is the database performing? Who is able to use it? Who is not able to use it? And so on. Then it provides index reorganization facilities. It's able to reorganize the indexes or indices and the overflows. Then we have what we call garbage collection and reallocation facilities. In other words, it's able to remove deleted records physically from the storage devices to consolidate the space released and reallocate to when it is needed. So once you delete some records, the Dbms is able to remove them from the physical storage and do what? Have that service or that data being used somewhere else, or that space being used somewhere else. With that, that's the summary of the functions of the Dbms. I expect you to write the notes from the page that is from the book that I shared with you. So kindly make those notes on the functions of Dbms, and you may have a nice time.